Chapter 1105 has graced us with its presence, and now we're going to talk about it. So, this was a really good bridge chapter, transition chapter, whatever you want to talk about it. We had some good straw hat spotlights, which is always a plus for me, but also we're left with a pretty big mystery, which I'm excited to talk about. But anyway, the chapter kicks off with the buster call has been called, everybody's trying to evacuate, and Doll, I'm pretty sure is her name, is trying to get Saturn and Kizaru out too, but Saturn says, no, we're staying, which means I guess Saturn and Kizaru discussed this before they went onto Egghead. They knew that if they got in there and it wasn't an easy job, that they had already pre-planned, this is what we're gonna do, because they did not discuss anything just now. They were like, all right, time to pull the plug. They call the buster call, and then they're like, go on, we stay. So this has been pre-discussed. So anyway, I am curious about Doll's reaction here, because when they said we're staying and Doll's like, what? And then Kizaru's one answer, what little he says is just a very stoic, by my interpretation, by my mind, a very stoic go. And then she's like, okay, yes, sir. And admittedly, I'm projecting a little bit. This is a very biased interpretation, but I like to think that Kizaru kind of having this stoic, you go, I'm staying here, and her reaction of this isn't what I'm expecting of you might be an indicator to us that he has something on his mind, that he's, I don't know. I just really want Kizaru to choose our side. I've been waiting. I don't even remember how long ago it was that I was like, I think the admirals are being forced to make a choice. And like, we're all discussing it. It's not unique to me, but I've been waiting for so long for Kizaru to change sides, for him to realize, listen, I don't want to be doing this job. I'm literally working for a demon, and he's disgusting, and he considers us all insects, and he doesn't value me or anyone else, and I actually do have a relationship with these people that I'm being forced to attack, so I'm gonna stop attacking them, and I'm gonna start attacking you. Like, I want it so bad, and it's really not looking like it's going there, but I don't know, something about the way he said go. I'm just like, maybe. And my channel artist, usually the artwork doesn't come this early in the video, but it did this week. My channel artist seems to be having the same kind of delusion that she's living in as I do, where she's like, but maybe he'll choose Vegapunk? So her art this week depicts Kizaru and his famous shades that he wishes were a little bit darker. At one side, he's looking at Saturn, the one that he's serving, and at the other side, he's looking at the relationship that he's had for years, the person that he cares about, the person that he doesn't want to kill, and he's got to make a choice. I think it's really clear that he is wrestling with something in his mind, that this is not an easy decision for him, and whatever he does choose, it's not going to be an easy decision for him. So I think that this perfectly reflects how he's hiding behind his glasses, and behind that he's trying to work out his loyalty and work out where he stands with it all. Beautiful art piece, as always. Tessine is so talented. She's always linked in the description. Anyway, I love what Vegapunk says here when he's telling Saturn, listen, I thought you just wanted me. If you destroy this entire island, then you're gonna destroy progress. You're gonna destroy scientific advancement. You're gonna set the world back 100 years, which reminds me of the Ancient Kingdom, or of the Void Century. It reminds me of the Void Century, and how, so at Egghead, when we first arrived, it was the future island, but then we discovered that this is actually the past, that actually the Void Century, the Ancient Kingdom that was destroyed, it was like this, but it was destroyed and the world got set back. Am I remembering that wrong? I'm second guessing myself, but that's what I remember the story telling us. And so here we are again. Once again, they're ready to completely wipe a place off the map because it would dare disobey, because the people of this island are not falling into line with the dictators of this world, with the rulers of this world. And that's their way of maintaining power, is with an iron fist. You don't fall into line, you get destroyed. And it's your fault to boot. So anyway, he doesn't care. His response, and also, Vegapunk is begging Kizaru, Kizaru, please. He's appealing to his old friend who looks so shamefaced. I mean, he's clearly struggling with this situation that he's been put in. But anyway, Saturn's response, we do not need progress. First of all, we've said this a million times, Oda writes villains so well, but this authoritarian sort of leadership that he does, where he's like, I don't need progress. What I need is to continue to have control. And if progress is going to make it so that you are able to rebel against me, if progress means that you have something troublesome to the world government, if it means that you are able to disobey me, if you're able to not create the self-destruct switch that I told you to, or you're not falling into line with my orders, I don't need your stinking progress, because why would I care about the advancement of insects? Why would I care about mere humans? What I care about is obedience. You've failed, so you've lost your right to live. Brilliant antagonist. So anyway, continuing on that track, Saturn tells Vegapunk, I've ordered a strike against the ship that escaped the island yesterday, so haha, you lose. The scientists that you were trying to save, they don't get out either. Everybody dies because you made the choice to resist. And that's exactly what he says. It's all your fault. You caused this to happen to them, Vegapunk. You broke the law, just as they did at Ohara. You could not overcome your lust for knowledge, and so you had to go digging up the past. So that is so very Saturn, to manipulate a situation and to thrust blame on the victims, to say, this is on you. If you had just obeyed orders, if you had just been a good little insect and fallen into line, none of this would have happened. But because you didn't follow the laws set before you, because you couldn't follow your supreme overlord, you're getting squashed. And so is everyone you love. That's on you, pal. It's such a good depiction of this kind of person who will do whatever it takes to maintain power. All he cares about is power. He doesn't care about serving anyone, about making the world better. He doesn't have any good motivations. It's all about maintaining power. And so it's like you fall into line or you're crushed like an insect. What a great villain. We're not done talking about Saturn and how great of a villain he is and how disgusting and despicable he is. But while we wait, some really good Straw Hat stuff. I love when Bonnie is worried about Vegapunk and Sanji just turns around and gives her that goofy little smile, and he's like, don't worry about it, we got it. Like, I love sweet Sanji. You've got the Sanji that goes too far, and then you've got the sweet protector Sanji, and I love my sweet protector Sanji. So that derpy little cheerful, I got it smile is beautiful. Then he's on his way to handle it. You have the Straw Hats all getting ready to fall into place. We're over here. We're moving over here. Zoro's still in the fight, but Jinbei's going to help him finish that up and make sure he doesn't get lost. We're all falling into place so that we can enact our strategies. Everybody but Usopp, who's panicking in the corner like a friggin' baby. So I love, and Robin. But she's injured, so she has a pass. And also look at how adorable she looks with Chopper doting over her. You're doing fine, sweetie. But anyway, I love that everybody is, I just made so many people mad by calling Usopp a baby, but look at him, it's fine. He's doing the Usopp thing. So anyway, I love that this crazy intense thing is going on. Again, literal devil coming out of a summoning circle and turning into a giant spider thing, immortal, healing himself when he's injured. crazy stuff going on. Kuma has arrived and a lot is going on. And I love that the Straw Hats, most of them, their response is, we've been here before. We've done this. We know our crew. We know what to do. And they just go into planning mode. They go into action. They're like, all right, let's play support. I love that for them. Like, it's so satisfying to see them not really flinch in the midst of all this craziness and to just be like, what do we need to do? What's our next move? I love it. Speaking of, Brook is also amazing in this chapter. I love it. He says, moving a ship across land, it's a piece of cake for me. And then we find out that what he's done is he's frozen the runway with ice so they can just slide the ship on through. Brook is such a hidden star. He's such a quiet MVP. So many of the Straw Hats are loud, and I love them for being loud. But Brook is like never trying to steal the spotlight. He's never trying to get in anybody's face unless he wants to see the panties. And he's like, I'm gonna handle this. I'm just gonna quietly sneak in and get the rubbing of like 2 poneglyphs, or I'm just gonna sneak over here and handle this. I'll just break that portrait of Big Mom's to instigate like this crazy thing, or I'll just freeze this runway. I'll go ahead and get the ship for us. No worries, guys. Like, I love Brook. I love this crew so much. And while this is not the biggest hype chapter in the whole wide world, it is a really, really satisfying chapter for me. And I wish we had more like these because I miss the crew being able to be the crew. And I feel like I say that every time we get a chapter like this, but they're so few and far between that it's nice to have. Anyway, cannon fire, bombardment, we destroy, and then we have the pacifistas coming in and attacking as well. So they're going through the vacuum rocket. They're all piled into this vacuum thingy. And Kizaru, what are you doing, man? In my mind. And I know I'm making this up. I know that. In my mind, Kizaru is just biding his time, waiting for the perfect moment. He's like setting things up, telling Saturn, yeah, we'll call the buster call. No worries, man. We're gonna handle this. And he's just waiting until the final moment when it's the perfect time to turn on him and make his light sword cut through Saturn. And it won't do anything because it's Saturn. But that's why he's waiting, because he's waiting until whatever he's waiting for happens. And then he turns on Saturn so that whatever he's waiting for can finish the job that he wouldn't be able to do on. Like, that's my mind. And I know I'm making it up, but that's what I want to be true. But then he does stuff like this. Then he gets his light sword out and he cuts through the tunnel and sends them flying, and then the pacifistas shoot at them to kill them. Kizaru, it's really hard for me to say that you're not a bad guy when you're acting like a bad guy. So if you could stop making a liar out of me, that'd be super helpful. It's hard for me to justify your actions that are clearly not good when you continue, like, just fall into line with my headcanon. Please, I beg of you. I do still think that he's genuinely being loyal to Saturn right now. I don't actually think that in his mind he's waiting for the perfect time. Like, he's strategizing, waiting for his move to take down Saturn. I do think that he's still loyal to Saturn in this moment. I just also think that he does have a lot going on in his mind and that he eventually has to make the final decision. Is it going to be Saturn? Is it going to be Vegapunk? Honestly, it could go either way. I'm mostly joking about like my headcanon and, oh, he's actually like, that's mostly a joke. It's not so much a joke as it is wishful thinking, but I do think that he's still currently very loyal to Saturn. I just hope that'll change. Anyway, Kizaru cuts through the pipe. And then they all fall out, and Kuma protects Bonnie. Screw Frankie and Atlas. They can get laser beamed away. I gotta protect my daughter. Which, yeah, I understand. But Saturn, it's just exquisite. Exquisite, he called it. The daughter he gave his life to save, killed by his own clone. A fitting end for the insect she is. It is the height of folly. Exquisite, he called it. Exquisite, he called it. Exquisite. This man who has given up everything. He's bargained his very identity and sense of self to protect her. And now here he is, shielding her with his body over and over again, taking hit after hit, being so damaged. It's exquisite to watch her be destroyed by his likeness that he agreed to have created so that they could defend the people. But instead they're destroying the people. Exquisite, he called it. Do you remember last chapter when we were all just like, where's Luffy? Where did he go? What's the plan? Who's taking him? He's just eaten himself to the point of not being able to move, just chilling in the middle of this room. Now, it does look like he was moved to in front of the food machine. So, I mean, did he move himself there? Or was it Kizaru? Here I am, still living in my delusion. Was it Kizaru who lightning fast, or speed of light fast, grabbed him, put him there, then got back into position? Was it he who shall not be named? We don't know. But we do know that this is where Luffy is, and he's been captured. So that's our leader. Also, the ship that was supposed to have destroyed the ship of escaped scientists was in fact destroyed itself. We failed to destroy the escaped ship. Must report back to Kizaru. Tell him they went to Egghead. Dun dun dun! That's the mystery. That's the thing. Who's they? Who is it? So, when I was streaming this reaction, we talked over on my Patreon. We talked for a while about who it could be. So here's some of the things that we discussed that mostly other people kind of just said and I responded to. So we talked about Mads. I really, really like this theory because it's so out of left field. It's not the first thought that I think any of us would have come up with. It's not the answer that's on the tip of everybody's tongue, but it would make sense. If members of Mads heard what's going on Egghead, and then they want to preserve scientific advancement, that would make sense to me. A group of scientists dedicated to science would, they may not have compassion for, oh no, the Straw Hats, oh no, some random, people who have been enslaved and who have been tortured by the Celestial Dragons. But wait, science is at risk? Scientific advancement could be destroyed? We're gonna go fight next to Vegapunk. Like, that would be really interesting, right? Revolutionary Army, I really like that option. I know that it's very unlikely because how are they gonna get to Egghead so fast? Probably, like, I don't know. I don't really see that working. But I do really like the idea if Oda can, like, make something up to make it work, then that would be great because I just like the redemptiveness of that. The Revolutionary Army weren't able to go after Ginny. And so when the Celestial Dragons took Ginny and destroyed her life, they weren't able to save her. They weren't able to do anything about it. However, they did go in to save Kuma, and then Kuma left them. And they might have like a tracking chip on him or something. I don't know. There might be a way to locate him again. And so they go, and this time they couldn't save Ginny, but this time they do get to assist in saving Bonnie, which I think would be that would be a really nice full circle for them, where it's like we couldn't do that, but we were able to do this, and it would be a nice little redemption of them still giving so much to Kuma and to the ones that he loves and he wants to protect. I think that would be really great if Oda could like come up with a solution for them to be here. Blackbeard, naturally, we saw the Blackbeard pirates, forever ago, and we've all just been sitting around like, when do they move? So it's possible that they've just been hanging out and they were finally like, you know what? I'm just going to the island. I don't care anymore. And why? Okay, so you have the ship of scientists sailing out, and then the marine ship that was supposed to attack the scientist got attacked. Why would Blackbeard attack them? Well, I don't know. It doesn't say we were destroyed. It doesn't say that the people that destroyed us were trying to protect the scientists. It just said we failed to destroy the escaped ship. So it's possible that Blackbeard wasn't defending them. He was just like shooting at a random ship so that he could get by them. But there probably isn't a lot of motivation for him to shoot them down or to interfere with this little skirmish that's going on over here, other than just like, you know, Blackbeard is force of chaos and he does what he wants. Shanks is nearby. Crossguild. I don't see why Crossguild would get involved because Buggy just convinced everybody to go after the One Piece, so why would they be then going to Egghead? So Crossguild's on the table, but I don't think it's probably Crossguild. I know a lot of people have been throwing around the Grand Fleet. A lot of people have been throwing around the Grand Fleet, and that would make sense because they have the Vivir card. And, you know, there's been plenty of buildup for them coming in and fighting alongside Luffy at the 11th hour at some point in the series. I personally don't want it to be the Grand Fleet because I think it's tonally wrong. I think that what's going down on Egghead right now is really serious and intense, tonally, with the intensity of Saturn's sheer evil and complete disregard for human life and coming out of a summoning circle once again, as well as Kizaru and him having to make this decision, as well as everything that's come through Kuma and Bonnie's flashback and the emotional depth that is at stake with these two and their lives being on the line. Tonally, where we are in Egghead right now is really serious. And the Grand Fleet don't really match that tone to me. If they came in, I don't think that it would feel like, oh, everybody stop. Shanks is here. Or everybody stop, the Revolutionary Army is here to fight next to Kuma to defend his daughter, right? It would feel like, all these goofy group of guys, they're here to fight. And I mean, they're strong. Don't think I'm power scaling here. They're strong. I'm just saying tonally who they are and the presence that they carry. I don't think it fits Egghead. So I personally am not voting for the Grand Fleet. I'm not saying no. I'm just saying personally, they're not at the top of my list of who I want to see right now. My friend is convinced that it's Smoker and Tashigi, which I would be down for, especially because she seemed confused about why Kizaru was staying. And so it's possible that, I mean, last time we saw Doll, if I'm remembering correctly, which again, there's no guarantees on that one. But if I'm remembering correctly, last time we saw Doll, she was visiting Tashigi and the babies, right? So it could be them. That would work. My vote is for either Mads or Revolutionary Army. That's who I want to see. Who do you want to see? Anyway, I thought this was going to be a really short video. I was like, it might be 10 minutes because, you know, it's a transition chapter. There's not a lot going on, but there's actually a ton to talk about in this chapter, it turns out. So, you know, what did you think of it? I loved that we got more of the Straw Hats. I love that we have this ongoing thing with Kizaru that I'm so desperate to see what ends up coming of that, and I'm so curious about who's coming. So lots to talk about, lots of fun things to speculate on. Let me know what you think about the events of this chapter and where everybody's motivations are. Just chat with me more in the comments. I post videos every Monday and Friday on this channel, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays on the book channel, which is always linked in the description. I'll see you again soon. Bye.